This is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. And yes, today will be a different kind of episode. Now, most of you guys know I watch nowadays basketball not that often simply because I lost interest. It has nothing to do with the game that I fell in love with. And yes, I'm also not the kind of guy that goes on a show every second week to have rants about nowadays NBA. I keep it mostly to myself, but every once in a while there's something that gets me so mad that I have to speak it out, otherwise it's driving me crazy. And I want to talk about LeBron James, the so-called king, and most of you guys know that I'm a Jordan guy, and of course there are some players in nowadays NBA where say, hey, they belong in the top 50 or top 30, whatever. Credit where credit's due. But LeBron James, it's so hard to respect the guy that he is literally year by year going down on my list lower and lower and lower because that guy disrespects basketball. That guy simply has no respect for basketball. And for you young folks that happen to tune in, look, I don't want to be negative to your guy, but I try to be as objective as I can. Now, from the generation that I grew up with, the best players or the greatest players were always considered the guys who had the total package. So I'm talking about guys who played offense, defense, who were players that had respect for the game, great fundamentals. They played hard every night. So there were certain criteria that you needed to have to be in that greatest player conversation. And LeBron James simply lacks so many things that I don't even have in my top 10 anymore. And yes, I'm gathering my dislikes here, but it's the truth. Now, most of you guys have seen the clip where LeBron James has hurt his elbow/elbows because he kind of forgot which elbow he hurt, which we will take a look soon. Now, he's on the injury list now. He's not playing because he has this injury. And for me, it's just so hard to respect the guy, to see that and now let's take a look. The guy does his move. He falls down. He lands on his hand and slightly on one elbow. And yes, that can hurt. That can actually cause pain because if you put a lot of weight on your elbow. But the one thing that automatically destroys everything to me is, okay, but your other hand is not really in danger. It's not really in a painful position. Why all of a sudden within 2 seconds you go from pretending your one elbow hurts, moving to both elbows, and then when you're getting up, suddenly you're touching the elbow that has no injury whatsoever. So to me, I can see that the guy his mindset is like, oh, I got hurt. Oh no, oh shoot, what did the people see? No, it was the other one. And he didn't know which elbow to choose because he didn't have the replays in that second, so he had to choose one elbow that pretendingly was hurt. And he chose the wrong one. And that to me goes on a list of countless moments where LeBron James is pretending that he got hurt. It's actually so bad. If you take a look at some of the videos from last season, the seasons before, his teammates, they don't respond anymore when LeBron James gets hurt. There are moments where you can see LeBron pretends to be hurt and the teammates are talking to each other. They don't even give a shit anymore because they probably see this all the time and they know that there's nothing going on. How can you, and this young fellas, I'm sorry, but how can you call a guy the greatest of all time or the greatest if he simply is not tough enough to run in a not tough league? Just imagine placing him in the 80s or 90s where guys literally, we have all seen it. I mean, the witnesses of 80s, 90s basketball, we have all seen it. Guys that went on the floor with torn something, or even, what was his name? The guy from Boston that actually had a calf. He was definitely not supposed to play. And guys that had ripped something in their legs, in their feet, or broken thumbs, and guys kept playing. Now, I'm not saying that this is right. Yeah, some injuries you definitely should sit out. But it just shows that back then there was a different mindset. And placing LeBron in that kind of era where you had guys who were really tough, and I'm not just saying you had guys, almost all of them were like that. Why? Because you could not exist and could not hang if you weren't built that way. Even the players who weren't the greatest basketball players, they were tough as nails. They had to be. Otherwise, there was no reason for them to be in the NBA. And as I mentioned before, and this to me is one of the biggest keys why this guy can't be the greatest of all time. If you would respect basketball, you would respect the rules. In my opinion, in my mind, if you truly love something, you treat it well. You don't abuse it. LeBron James, the guy who doesn't give a damn about traveling, so he has no great fundamentals. Sorry, none. He doesn't have great fundamentals. That guy has been traveling for 15 years now or so. Can't respect that. A guy that flops all the time, can't respect that. A guy who pretends that he's injured all the time so that he can sit out some games or whatever the reason is, can't respect that. A guy that changes teams to win championships, can't respect that. A guy that gets his son on a team that is definitely no disrespect to Bronny, it's not his fault, but to get your son on a team when you objectively know that he ain't ready, can't respect that. There are so many more reasons why I simply can't accept LeBron James anymore. And to me, he's a big reason why the NBA is broken. Of course, there are multiple players that had a big part in destroying the NBA. Also, Adam Silver, big part of that. So it's not just LeBron. And here comes. I'm not sure if some of you guys are still watching, but this is also one thought that I had in mind. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I love Dennis Rodman, and Dennis Rodman also used to flop. And the difference to me, in my mind, is if you have a player like LeBron, like Dennis Rodman, who obviously is not the greatest player in the NBA, who's obviously not a role model, who obviously is not the face of the NBA, I don't compare what he's supposed to do with what the face of the league has to do. If you're the face of the league, you have responsibilities. Everybody has responsibilities, of course, but they change as soon as you are the face of the league. And to me, the face of the league always has to represent what the game is supposed to be. Because you inspire the next generation. You are what people are looking up to. You are what people want to become. And if the face of the league doesn't give a shit about rules, if he doesn't give a shit about fundamentals, if he doesn't give a shit about playing defense, if he doesn't give a shit about playing hard and those kind of things, of course we know what the next generation looks like. And in my opinion, it's not getting better. It's not getting better. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And thank you, LeBron. I have the feeling that every year I'm going online to have one of these videos, and every year it's getting worse and worse. I'm feeling more disappointed. I'm getting more mad and everything. I would love to sit down with LeBron and actually hear his opinion about those things and how he would explain, how he would explain in his mind why the things that I'm attacking right now, why they ain't so. Because I'm trying to be as objective as possible, and especially for young folks, if you like to have an objective conversation, I'm wondering how can you dispute those facts? Because you guys also have eyes, and you see those things that LeBron has been doing for such a long time. It's hard for me to understand why you are cool with that. The reason I can't be cool with it is because I have seen it differently. I've seen 20 years of NBA basketball, of different NBA basketball. I know what the product was like. That was the product that I fell in love with. Not only me, my generation, the older generation. We have seen how good the product can be. And it's far away from what we see nowadays.